Hello everyone! This is Running on Empty Food Review. Well, hello ladies, gentlemen, and everyone watching. Welcome one and all to this newest edition of the Running on Empty Food Review series. I'm your host, the Report of the Week. Always a pleasure to be here. Starting off the new year, 2024, with a brand new release from KFC. So they are the very first establishment releasing a new item for the new year. So I'm excited to try this one out. Although, as you will soon see, I am a little apprehensive, and I'll tell you why. KFC is one of these establishments, in my opinion anyway, that has really undergone a redemption arc of sorts over the last few years. They started getting really iffy, the quality kept going down, and then all of a sudden, about a year or two ago, they started improving. And release after release of theirs, I found quite enjoyable. As a matter of fact, about a year ago, they released some new wraps, and they were excellent. They were really good snacks. They had some good nuggets too, some good sandwiches. So the quality of KFC has been improving these days, which again is always good to see. And they have released 2 more wraps to their menu. Again, when I tried out their wraps about a year ago, they were enjoyable. So, you know, on the surface, this looks like it's probably going to be a pretty good release, right? They've released a Honey BBQ KFC wrap, where you have a chicken tender, crispy chicken tender, I should add. It has honey barbecue sauce, mayo, and pickles, and it's wrapped in a tortilla. And then you also have a spicy mac and cheese wrap. And in that you also have a chicken tender, spicy sauce, macaroni, and a 3-cheese blend. The honey barbecue flavor makes sense. The mac and cheese one can be, I would wager that could go either way. If you want to get one wrap, it will be the price of $3 for the wrap itself, but they are promoting a meal deal where you can get the 2 wraps for the price of $5. So you're saving $1 if you get both of them as part of that special deal. So anyway, you know, pretty straightforward, right? It doesn't seem like it's all that big of a deal. So I ordered it. Number one, the bag that it came in, and you know, this is what it is, but the bag has has seen better days, and the bottom is like all soggy and everything. So that's the first thing. That just it's kind of making me a little apprehensive. The second thing, I got a drink with this. I just got some soda, and it's not good at all. Again, this might be meaningless, but all I'll say is that I'm a little apprehensive this time around, but it's going to be what it is. You know, you can't always judge a book by its cover, but in the end, we will see. I got them both, though. I did check. And they're kind of soggy, but the odd thing is that they're not as soggy as you would think for the bag to be like this, so I don't know. Anyway, today I just want to try them out either way, see how they are, and that'll be that. Pretty straightforward. Let's see which one is which. As you can see, they come with this little wrapping for the wrap. That was terrifying. That had to have been the single scariest moment of my life. I thought that I had just gone too far and that the Colonel was coming back to put me in my place, essentially. But instead it was just a package getting delivered, so it was a false alarm. And the review continues. So anyway, has the little decorative, wrapping that says, I think it's finger lickin' good. And anyway, I was able to figure out in the meantime which one is which. This here is the mac and cheese one, and this is the honey barbecue one. Oddly, they put the cheese... See, this is what I mean. The honey barbecue one, as you could see right here, there's the tortilla, there's the chicken tender inside of it. But you could see the tortilla. But they put cheese in this one. There is a pickle there, and the sauce, and the mayo mixed in there as well. But they added, I guess, the 3-cheese blend to this one, which it doesn't usually, it's not supposed to come with. So, by default, this isn't the correct item if you really want to be very specific. But nonetheless, I'm still going to try it out, and we're just going to have to deal with it. The fact that there's cheese on this when it's not supposed to be. So generally, it's just supposed to have the pickles, the mayo, the sauce, the chicken, and the tortilla, but no cheese. There is no 3-cheese blend for this one. But anyway, so that's a mistake there. But nonetheless, try it out, see how it tastes, and then we'll go into the mac and cheese one. So, the KFC Honey BBQ Wrap, it's going in. So I paused the camera just for that because I'm doing a double review here, so I just figured, I want to make sure I have enough time left to give a proper assessment for everything. So, despite the 3-cheese blend, again, being on the Honey BBQ Wrap, it's not that bad for what it is, so I will say the general adjective that comes to mind, to me anyway, when I look at this and when I taste it, and based on my experience with it, is average. Sometimes there will be items, occasionally it seems to be fewer and fewer, but there will be these sorts of items that are just kind of unremarkable. And it's like, all right, it's not bad, it's not necessarily all that great either, but it's like, yeah, I could eat it, it's all right, it's inoffensive, right? That's what really strikes me as far as the Honey BBQ Wrap is concerned. And admittedly, that is a little underwhelming. Not the fact that because it's average, but because the last one that I had before this was just so good. The quality of it was just different. It was much higher quality. It was one of those items that, you'll get it, and then you'll think to yourself, wow, this is great, and I'm actually looking forward to, going here again and getting it another time, right? You get those sorts of items. This is not one of them. It's like, all right, tastes okay, All right, I have it right here in front of me. Yeah, I'll eat it, but am I going to go out of my way and get this again? Probably not. That's the sort of reaction that I am getting from this. Not again that there's all that much bad to it. I personally thought that this was going to be a bit better, though, because I like their honey barbecue sauce. I actually am a fan of it. I've had it before, and I find that it's quite flavorful and it pairs quite nicely with the chicken. But there's just something about this. Maybe it's the combination of the sauce and the mayo. Maybe perhaps, and I hope not, because I like the sauce, they did something to it. And the sauce is it tastes a bit watered down. It's not as flavorful as I remember it being. And that's disappointing, so it's just much more watery. It's quite messy because, as you could see even when I was holding it up, you have all the excess mayo, and all of this, again, is just more watery than I remember it being previously, just kind of seeping out the other end. The pickle is all right, all things considered. The pickle kind of has a little crisp to it, at least, which is nice. But, then the chicken as well. The chicken is just a little underwhelming. That's not to say that it was bad or flavorless. It's still of decent quality. But, is it that sort of extra crispy, real crunchy chicken tender that's advertised as being in this? Is it like how it was a year ago? No, it wasn't. The tender itself was not extra crispy, in my opinion. Tasted okay, but it just wasn't the greatest. So I am a bit disappointed there. And again, it's not the worst thing, but definitely not the best thing. There is that little sweetness from the barbecue sauce, but all in all, it's a bit underwhelming. So, despite it just being a little snack, I would have hoped for it to be better, admittedly. So out of 10, I'm going to have to give the honey barbecue one, I'm just going to have to give it a 6.1 out of 10. Now, the spicy mac and cheese one, again, also looks a little underwhelming. Kind of reminds me of like these sorts of, even though it's not, like a breakfast wrap. I don't know why, it just kind of has that look to it, even if it's not. This has everything it's supposed to have anyway, and you can see the spicy sauce there. So I'm going to try it out now, and let's see how it is. So the mac and cheese one, going in. So here's the thing with the, this was not necessarily underwhelming, it was just bizarre, and not really in a good way. As you can see, the cross-section, it does really have everything. You can see the cheese, the sauce, the chicken, the noodles, etc. It has everything that it's supposed to have. In this case, the mac and cheese one was made exactly as advertised. It was exactly what I was supposed to be. But here's the thing. You know those instances where there's just a flavor that just... You try something and you just think to yourself, this just doesn't work, you know? It just doesn't... It really clashes, right? That's how this is. The word that I think of when I try out the mac and cheese one is discordant. And that means there's a huge clash as far as the flavor goes. Here's what I mean by that. It's not particularly cheesy. The noodles are there, you know, it's soft, it's got a little bit of cheesiness, don't get me wrong. But number one, it doesn't really scream mac and cheese to me. It just doesn't have that sort of prevailing flavor. The chicken is equally average and is sort of subpar to the extent that it is not that sort of extra crispy tender. But the main thing that I notice here is that spicy sauce. The sauce, I feel, is disproportionately hot in comparison to everything else that I am trying here. It would be as if maybe like a little sort of mild to medium, essentially flavorful spice might work with this. This sauce, on the other hand, it's like they dumped this extremely strong, extremely potent, very, very strong hot sauce on this wrap, and it just doesn't work. I'm thinking to myself, wait a minute, it's just too spicy for what it is. It's like you just get this rush of spice that you would expect on like some really hot wings, and instead it's on this mac and cheese wrap, and it just does not work. It clashes, and it's like, why is this so hot? It just doesn't work. It doesn't combine well. It's weird. The chicken just isn't that great quality. And again, it's just way too spicy for what it is, to the point where, again, the flavors clash, and it's just not enjoyable to consume. So that's another problem there. So it's disappointing. Personally, it's like, I've no motivation to really get the barbecue one again, even if it's like average to the sort of like the bottom of average. And the mac and cheese one is just plain, it's not good. This is disappointing. It really is. I hope that this was like a one-off thing, because it's really a shame. KFC, I felt anyway, they were really on the right track. And I know all these sorts of establishments, they have their hits, they have their misses, they have their good days and their bad days. But, you know, I don't know, I just think back to a year ago when they released these wraps initially, and they were so good. You know, I was really excited for them. I gave them such a good review, too. And I thought, wow, these are going to be great for snacking. They tasted, they were just really good. They were fresh. They were high quality, affordable, too. And, I mean, I always like these sorts of wraps. They're easy to eat. They're fun. I like them. But then I get this. And the ideas here, especially that barbecue one, I genuinely thought that was going to be good. And then I get it, and it's just disappointing. And then I get the mac and cheese one, and I'm just thinking to myself, what even is this? You know, what is this supposed to be? Why is it... I don't know. Sometimes I just wonder when I see these sorts of things, does anyone even try this before they release this? Or do they just, slap the idea on a board and just go with it, and they don't even bother to test this, because it just doesn't work. So the mac and cheese one, as a result, I would not recommend it. As far as the barbecue one, I mean, get it if you really want to get it, but honestly, don't even waste your time unless you're really determined. It's just more disappointing than I thought it would have been, and that mac and cheese one is just weird and not in a good way. So as a result, I'm going to have to give the mac and cheese wrap from KFC that one I'm just going to have to give it, because it just doesn't work, it doesn't taste good. The quality, again, is just barely acceptable. It's not a good item, plain and simple. I'm going to have to give that a 4.9 out of 10. I would not get that one again. I would just avoid it. It just doesn't work. Might sound interesting, but the execution for that is really a failure. And this is disappointing. I would have hoped it to be better. In the end, I try not to judge a book by its cover, but then again, when you get the bag that's a disaster, and the drink tastes unusually bad, and then, that was indeed an unfortunate omen, I suppose, for what was to come. KFC, they will have more releases in the future. That's a guarantee. They will definitely have more where this came from, and I'll be willing to give them another chance, by all means. And I hope to try better from them as 2024 continues. But these two wraps, I'm afraid to say, they just aren't it. Disappointing, a bit of a letdown. Look, if you're forced to choose one, just go with the barbecue one. If you really, really want to go there, just get the barbecue one and forget the mac and cheese one, because that's disappointing. But honestly, I'd say save your money and get a better wrap from somewhere else. And that's all that I have for you. Thank you for watching, and until next time, I'm your host, The Report of the Week.